Welcome to the Forest Forum as the Premier League is back. Evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to the Forest Forum, as we will, of course, cover the game ahead on Saturday as Forest travel up to Anfield. But we got 3 hot topics for you guys to get your teeth into, and it's coming of you courtesy of Rob, Crypto, and Carlos is back. Hopefully, his Murillo agenda has died down a little after last time. Hope you guys are doing well in the chat. How are you boys on the panel?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. Wow. That was very... I'm fine, thank you. All right. You sure, Rob? You sure, Rob? No one's getting under your skin in the chat. I'm just making sure.
No, I'm chipping.
Is he here yet?
No, not yet. Evening, Tom. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Evening, Laurie. Dylan with 20 months. Dylan, thank you so much. Evening, you beautiful people. He can't be referring to this panel. He really can't. Okay, so the topics we got for you guys tonight are Too Little Too Late, courtesy of Rob. We've got Do We Trust Marinakis with, well, we'll wait to see what that one's about. And Crypto, I think, is doing From Zero to Hero. So that's all we got on the stage for you guys. As always, have your say on what the boys are saying. Let us know if you agree or disagree with them. Put your biases aside when you hear what they've got to say. I haven't heard any of this yet, so I'm looking forward to it all. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. All the usual good stuff. Evening, Jessica. Good to see you. Thomas as well. And I haven't had a chance to put a vote for the running order. So do you guys want to draw straws, or does anyone in particular want to go first?
I'll draw a straw if you want and go first.
All right, so one straw drawn, and it'll be Crypto, and he's bringing us to us. Which one are you doing again?
I'm doing the Chris Wood Zero to Hero.
Shit, hold on, wrong screen. There you go.
I did it.
There you go. All right, you got 5 minutes max, up to 5 minutes, to talk about what you got to talk about. Guys in the chat, let us know if you agree with Crypto or not. Mate, your time starts now.
So I've written this down, so I'll read it out. Whether it takes 5 minutes or 50 seconds, I'm not quite sure. But here we go. So I would like to take a moment to celebrate a player whose journey from scrutiny to stardom has been nothing short of remarkable. Mr. Christopher Wood, as we all know him, has been through a game of highs and lows, and the story of Wood's time at Nottingham Forest is a testament to his resilience, growth, and triumph. When Mr. Wood first donned the Nottingham Forest shirt, it wasn't exactly a great start that everybody expected, especially for the amount he cost. There were whispers and doubts, and not all fans were immediately convinced of his value to the team. Early on, his performances were met with skepticism. Some felt he struggled to adapt to the intensity of the Premier League, and in his initial stint, it left many questioning whether he could truly be the forward that Nottingham Forest needs. It's a challenging position to be in, especially when joining a team with high expectations and passionate supporters who demand an immediate impact. Yeah. Rest in peace, Chris Wood, man. You were the best. The weight of the expectations could be immense. And Joey, that comment's thrown me. You've thrown me off my... Can someone ban that person? There were moments when his play was criticised and people doubted his ability to perform at the highest level, both by fans and also FFTV panel members, including myself and some others on here, such as Mr. Wolfie. However, what sets a true champion apart is their ability to weather criticism and use it as fuel for improvement. Chris Wood did exactly that. Instead of being disheartened, he worked tirelessly to refine his game. His dedication was evident in every match, especially under Nuno, and every minute since. He has been perfecting his craft, and his commitment to improve himself has begun to pay off. Slowly but surely, the fans' doubt started to fade. Under Nuno, not under Steve Cooper. Under Nuno, Chris Wood has begun to turn heads. His persistence started to shine through, and his performances begin to speak for themselves. With each game, he showcased his exceptional talent, his unwavering determination to set the goals. I got to stop reading the chat. And his incredible ability to be consistent, unlike a certain Mr. Taiwo Awani, he notes. His transformation from a player who faced criticism to a first name on the team sheet has been nothing short of extraordinary. Today, Mr. Chris Wood stands as one of the most influential and celebrated leaders in our squad. His journey from being an underperforming newcomer to the club's top striker, and I know he doesn't have much competition, is a story of perseverance, hard work, and undeniable finishing. His impact on the pitch has become a defining feature of our attack. Wood has become synonymous with goals. His ability to score consistently, almost every game, is a testament to his skill and dedication. Whether it's a cheeky chip to convert a goal against Newcastle, or a powerful header from a set piece, or a clinical finish under pressure, Wood's contribution have been pivotal to our season and previous season. He has not only silenced the critics, but has also become a beacon of hope and a source of inspiration for our club, and I want to stay in the Premier League. Moreover, his influence extends beyond just his goal-scoring prowess. His work rate and commitment have earned him the respect of fans and fellow players alike. His willingness to track back defensively and fight for every ball, even in our own half, exemplifies the kind of all-round player that he is. The turnaround in the perception of Chris Wood is a testament to his character. He could have easily been discouraged by early criticism and given up, but instead he uses those challenges as motivation to prove himself that he is better. His journey is a powerful reminder.
You got 30 seconds.
His journey is a powerful reminder that with determination, hard work, and resilience, it's possible to overcome early setbacks and emerge as a key player, beloved by fans and essential to the team's success. Last paragraph. In conclusion, Chris Wood's story with Nottingham Forest is one of transformation from a player who faced early doubts to becoming the one reliable player in our team's attack. His journey exemplifies what it means to rise above criticism and achieve what he has. His skill, dedication, ability to deliver on the big stage has made him not just a top player, but the best striker we have. And as he continues to lead the line and inspire us with his performances, we should celebrate not just his success, but the fact that his consistency in front of goal is so much more than Taiwo Awani's purple patches. Man, the chat was throwing me off.
Oh, the chat's fault.
Hang on. I think I had him on mute. Can you just read that again?
It's like
Memorize that.
just before we bring
well said, Thomas. That was a lesson in how to speak proper English.
But just before we bring the boys in, just a shout out to Steph. Stop pressing shit, Crypto. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Steph. Chris with the 20 months saying story time with Crypto. Bedtime story.
I know I sounded a bit like Rob there, but I was trying to make him happier. Someone's upset him in the chat.
Chris with the £2 TLDI says, and Jessica probably enjoyed every second of that, being Chris Wood's #1 fan. Absolutely, Crypto 100%. Wood is Forest. Thank you so much for the £2, Jessica. Well, boys, what you got to say to that?
Is there anything left to say? I mean, he's done all the words. He's used all the words to say everything.
Speechless is how I wanted to leave everybody. Speechless.
I mean, look, I agree with Crypto. He has gone from zero to hero, because when he was signed under Cooper, he got a lot of stick. It was a lot of money. He didn't do much. We was all saying he was a dud. You know, there's all the Wood jokes, everything. But then under Nuno last season, he pretty much kept us up, didn't he, with his goals. This season, he's still got that habit of scoring goals, but he's the kind of player that does nothing all game, but then gets you a goal. And is there anything wrong with that as a striker? Yes, I would like him to add more to the game than that. But if he keeps scoring goals, it's all good for me.
Yeah,
He's
Rob,
a short-term solution. He's not a long-term solution, is he?
that is an interesting point. But I'll ask you this, Rob: were people right to criticize Wood when he first came in?
Well, Cooper didn't use him very well, did he? And it's difficult to know whether Cooper was behind the transfer or not. He sounded keen on it at the time.
He was.
When he came with Shelby, it looked for a moment like that it was going to be the most disastrous double signing that we'd ever done. But what I would say about Wood is that I think he's mentally tough. He's a leader. I think he had a long period out with injury, then a long period where Awonyu was like first name on the team sheet, and it would have been very easy to just sort of like do a Lingard and take the paycheck, and he didn't do that, and he waited his time, and I think more power to him, because you need people like that in your squad. I mean, I've got a lot of things wrong on this channel, but I do remember I stood up for him at the start, made people eat their comments a bit. One thing you didn't mention is that Wood literally means Forest. So he is the best named Forest player we've ever had. Tell me a better name to play for Forest than Wood.
Clough.
There is no better name than
Clough.
that.
Clough.
All right then. Clough Wood Clough. If it was double-barreled name. But anyway, I think I wouldn't write him off yet. I think everybody's waiting for him to sort of fizzle out. But there's a lot of strikers in his mold that have gone on into the late 30s. I mean, not exactly the same, but if you look at how long people like Giroud knocked around, and Ibrahimovic. Now, if you've got an eye for goal and you're a big lad and you know where to stand in the box, and you can go on into your late 30s. So just because he's like 32 now, people writing him off, I think that's a bit premature.
You said there, Carlos, that he needs replacing. I'm paraphrasing what you said because I can't actually remember what you said, but it felt like you're saying that
a short-term solution. Yeah,
short-term solution. Thank you. That was it.
Yeah.
So when does his short-termism end for you?
End of the season, because he's out of contract.
So you wouldn't renew?
No.
Ooh, I feel a poll coming on.
I wouldn't. I'd move on.
If he goes and bags 14 goals this season, you'd say thanks for your service.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've had a good couple of years from you. We'll replace you with someone else, someone younger, someone more long term. That's not criticism.
What the age issue is. I mean, like Leicester have still got Rebecca Vardy's husband playing up front, and
Rebecca Vardy's husband, aka
she's more famous than him now. So he's knocking on 40, isn't he? So I think
37, I think.
Well, all right, he's about 5 years older than Chris Wood.
I mean, if Wood's happy to be a squad striker and not play very often, then I wouldn't be against another 1-year contract. But I would rather.
You're cracking under the pressure there, Carlos. The chat got to you, did they?
I'm not. I'm not started reading the chat that much.
Read that.
Fast.
There's plenty saying they would. I mean, the poll at the moment, 74% would renew Wood's contract. There's too many Woods in that sentence. It really is. But I'm kind of Carlos on it. I'm not going to lie. I just think...
move on, don't we? We need to move on, get someone younger in, different profile of striker. We don't need Chris Wood long term.
But he has made a lot of people eat their words, including you, Crypto.
Yes, you hated him.
Yeah, and that's what my 5-minute and 24-second speech was all about.
Eulogy.
Until it got duly interrupted by some of the chat.
Okay, so that's Chris Wood. 74% of you are saying you would, 75 now, would renew it. I get you. I think I wouldn't mind renewing it as a backup. I think if we're relying on Chris Wood next season, then we've not had a great transfer window. In my opinion.
We probably need to get rid of both our strikers, don't we, and start again. Let's be honest.
Yeah, and we didn't get one this summer. And a lot in the chat. Then why did you lot who voted yes for Chris Wood? Why have a lot of you said we needed a striker over the summer transfer window? So that's my question to you guys in the chat.
Yeah, but those 74%, I've just convinced them in my 5-minute speech.
He's looking proud of himself. Let me just catch up with the super chats. Richard, thank you so much for the 2 months, buddy. Hope you are well. The lovely Mickey boy with the £3 super sticker. Thank you so much, buddy. Wayne, happy 1 year anniversary. Thanks for all your support. And the lovely Jessica with the question. We'll finish it off with Jessica's question. Can I ask, where would we be without Wood? She says.
We'd be in the championship. That's where we'd be.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Do you agree with that, Rob?
Um,
Isn't it a bit
Yeah.
black and white just to say one man?
I
It's
mean,
not
that-
Knight Rider here. One man in his car.
I don't know. We were still a
15
few
goals.
points clear, but he did show up when he was needed, didn't he? So we'll never know.
That Newcastle game, when he turned into Ronaldinho for that
That's
one
true.
game.
The point I was trying to make was that Chris Wood is good even when he's average. Taiwo's only good when he has purple patches. Chris Wood is
You didn't say
consistent.
that in your monologue.
I did right at the end, but
He
I
might
was
have done.
laughing
I
too much
missed
at the
that.
chat.
He might have said that.
Yeah,
in
I
there.
mean, Laurie was interrupting me, asking me when I was going to finish, so I kind of skipped a few bits
No,
out.
that was Carlos. Warren with the £2. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. All right, let's move on to our second topic, and we'll go with Carlos. The return of Carlos after he tried to end Murillo's career last time. He's got a few thoughts.
Yeah, well, I have it on good authority from Dave from Bulwell that Murillo watched that podcast and wanted to prove me wrong. So you're welcome, everybody.
Wait, are you still wanting him drop for Bolly, even though Bolly's injured?
No, I'm happy with Murillo next to Milenkovic. Good
Well, let's see
partnership.
what you've got in your team later on, mate, before we jump to these conclusions. So let's bring him onto the stage. And Carlos is going to talk to us. Now, I don't know what he's got here, but the title is, Should We Trust Marinakis with the world-famous City Ground? Carlos, you got 5 minutes, mate. The floor is yours.
Okay, so let me start off with saying we do need to thank Mr. Marinakis for buying the club and getting us out of a really shit situation with our last owners. And obviously, he was the owner who was in charge when we got promoted. So look, we've got to thank him for that. And he has technically hasn't invested that much money into players, because the money that we've invested in players is technically Premiership money and from sponsors and stuff like that. So he hasn't actually used lots of his own money. It's been Premiership money that he's been using. And this is what leads me on to the City Ground. So I believe it was 5 years ago now that it was announced that the ground was going to go through improvements and knocking down the main stand and rebuilding it, filling in the corners, etc. And we don't seem to have got any further along. It seems to be the excuses are it's the councils or the red tape. But, you know, this guy is a rich man. If he wanted to redevelop that City Ground, he could do it. He could even build a new stadium somewhere else if needs be. He's not put his money where his mouth is yet. And from what's going on at the moment, yeah, he's done some, not him personally, but, you know, we've painted some areas. The tunnel's now fully red. We've got cladding. We've got new TVs. But this is small change for him. This is not much money. And what worries me is we're currently getting a lift built on the side of the main stand to Mr. Marinakis Towers. He did write a lot of debt off. I've seen that in the chat. He has written a lot of debt off, but that's like what, 40 million. That's nothing to him. That's the price of Sangari. And that was part of the original deal with the sale anyway. So we've got a lift being built on the side of the stand. Now, why would we be building a lift and building a Mr. Marinakis room if we're going to be knocking that stand down anytime soon? You know, that lift isn't going to be finished probably till like midway through the season, if then. So then are we just going to knock it down in a year or two? I doubt it. You know, he promised to fill in 2 of the corners with these shipping containers. It's now gone down to 1 corner. It was promised to be a certain height. They've now took a level off it, and we're left with some pathetic looking 4-5-story shipping container thing that looks awful. So, you know, it's just another example of him not putting his money where his mouth is. Look at the training facilities. I think it was 3 years ago, there was a promise of the facilities to be rebuilt there. That's not happened. They've sacked it off. They've put some temporary buildings up for the gym and for the physio rooms. And to be honest, they've been for the last 4 or 5 years, they've been training in a gym that's worse than pure gym. I mean, you can go to your local gym down the road and it's better facilities than what was in that weird aircraft bunker, which I think was originally supposed to be a storage room. So, you know, and this is going to cost us in the long run. We're not, you know, we want to be higher up the Premier League table. We want to attract the better standard of players. We're not going to be able to attract them with the facilities we've got, not with that Wilford Lane training facility. There's clubs in League One with better training facilities like what we've got. We should be on with building a new training facility now. I'm not saying it should be ready, but it should be being built and it should be ready for the next season or 2. And, you know, same with the stadium. There should be something's happening. All we're doing is we're painting stuff and we're putting cladding up. There's no actual development going on. It's just basically polishing a turd right now. That's all he's managing to do. You know, for me, I don't think we're going to get a new stadium or a redeveloped stadium under Marinakis. I think the club will need to be sold for that to happen. I don't believe he's going to put a large amount of money into the club. And there we go. That's it.
The chat aren't agreeing with you, Carlos.
They never do. They never do. You're on mute.
Can't hear you, Wolfie.
This is new.
Marinakis has shut down the stream.
Take over, Crypto. Take over.
So, I mean, it looks like I'm yet to see a comment from someone in the chat who agrees with you. I mean, from my point of view, I think Marinakis has been great for the club. I mean, the amount of money he puts into players. What you've got to remember is it is a business at the end of the day. But I think Marinakis actually loves us genuinely as a club. If he just wanted to make money and run off, he could have sold us. But he hasn't done that. Now, a new ground would be I don't know the financial aspects of a new ground, but I'm guessing it would cost them hundreds of pounds. And I don't think we can have that expectation on him at the moment. I think Marinakis wants to make sure that, first of all, we're a solid Premier League team, because if we bought a new ground and then went down, we'd be back down to 20,000 fans, and that would really stink. So I think give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's stay in the Premier League for 3 or 4 years, and then he probably will consider a new ground. But for me, the stuff Marinakis has done has been brilliant, and we wouldn't be here without him. And especially if you compare him to previous owners. I mean, if you look at Fawaz, you know, I could do with one of his air conditioning units, but apart from that, it's just nothing compared to Marinakis.
So what do you say, Rob? Because
didn't he just get lucky with Cooper? He pointed Cooper and just got lucky. I don't. Did Marinakis do much to actually get us promoted, or did he just get lucky by appointing Cooper?
Rob,
you got a bit far now. I was about to agree with you. I'm also very, very frustrated about the lack of any date for the Peter Taylor stand. The plan has been there for a long time now, and it's a plan that Tom Cartledge's company drew up. It required approval from 3 local authorities: Rushcliffe, Nottingham City, who own the freehold, and Nottingham County Council. And I believe we've got approval from all 3. Then there was the spanner in the works over the cost of the lease. Interestingly, that one's gone quiet again, despite the announcement from Negat Khan. That announcement was not reciprocated by the club, despite a joint statement they put out saying, we're not making any more unilateral announcements. Next time you'll hear from us both together. And then she jumped the gun. So it's not clear what's happening, but it does fill me with doubt when I see, as Carlos says, modifications are being made to the existing main stand. I mean, the time to build a new ground is always now, right? You're facing this with national infrastructure. People going like, oh, if you want to fight climate change, you've got to build nuclear power stations. Then people, oh, it's going to take 30 years. Yeah, well, if you'd started 30 years ago, they'd be ready now.
Now you just blown my speakers.
It's the same issue. If you'd started building the city ground or building the Peter Taylor stand 2-3 years ago, it would be ready now. Just get on with it. Get on with it. The only thing I would say is it's not necessarily a prerequisite to being able to compete financially, because I've got the accounts here for 23. Our turnover was 154 million and only 10.4 was gate receipts, right? So it doesn't really move the needle. I think it's more a question of allowing fans to watch the game.
Rob, it's the corporate stuff that moves
True.
the needle.
Oh, yeah, sure. You know, with a redeveloped ground, we could get that up to 20 million, but it's still 20 million out of 154. The most important thing is that the fans can't get to see the games. And that is a real problem. We could sell 45,000 tickets. So get on with it. So in principle, I'm sympathetic to what you're saying.
Thanks,
and
Rob.
he hasn't rolled back what he said to that journalist, you know, the table football games and stuff.
Rob, sorry
he hasn't rolled back from that yet.
Just while Matt's in the chat, Matt, I'll be at the Fulham match. So I'll meet you at the fan zone to give you the Danilo shirt.
Okay. But just look, I think you have got a point within there, Carlos. But to write off Marinakis completely, mate, that's a little bit too far.
I'm not writing the guy off. I just wanted to. I want him to put his money where his mouth is. I want to know what's happening with the stadium. Are we redeveloping it? Are we moving? Which one are we doing? And when's it happening? What's the timeline? Because at the moment, we're just getting a lift to the main stand for his big office that he wants. And some stars.
Yeah, but what about all the debt he's wrote off? And all
Yeah,
the money
I mean, you got to address that because a lot of people in the chat are calling you out. He wrote off 50 million in debt, just like that.
And also, just one thing that I think shows a difference is that he also attends a lot of the games. A lot of owners don't attend the games; they just buy it to make money. He attends more games than he doesn't, and I genuinely think he's a Forest fan.
I bet he doesn't use the toilets in the stand though, does he? Because they ain't got no hot water in them, or some don't even have water. What? So why are you getting a lift?
There is
half a million. There is improvement. Half a million. People ain't even got running water in the toilets.
But do you really care about hot water at a football ground? I mean,
well, running water.
No.
But yeah, like I think warm water would be nice to wash your hands.
I guess
water in the toilet.
Priorities and warm water in the toilets probably not number one.
I think it's a basic need, isn't it? Water in the toilets.
Hygiene wise, yeah. I mean, imagine a health check in there. But more so on the Marinakis thing. I mean, you said he got lucky with Cooper, but he had to hire him. He then had to fire him. He then had to sign off investments. I mean, the accusation that gets thrown at Marinakis is he went too crazy with the spending. Maybe let Marinakis Jr. get over involved. Do you stand by what criticism he's had from outside of Forest? I
don't think we spent too much, did we, when we got promoted?
Well, we did because we got PSR, didn't we? Well, we got PSR. We spent over 100 million and then got the points deduction. So do you put that on Marinakis?
That's including the Premiership season as well.
Yeah.
So he used too much of the Premiership money, didn't he?
I like this about him as well. It's a slightly different point, but I like how he cares about our club. That when someone like Gary Neville goes around insulting us and insulting him, he takes action. If he didn't care, if it was just about the money, he wouldn't do that.
I think he does care. I don't doubt the fact that he cares, but we need to see some real investment into the stadium or a new stadium. for this
So-
club to keep continuing to
You've got
improve.
to be in the Premier League for a few
Already
years.
at rock
But
bottom.
just to counter that point about this point about having to be in the Premier League, bear in mind that he announced or it was announced 5 years ago about the actual redevelopment of the City Ground. That was pre being promoted. So the plans were actually being made before we got promoted, with no assumption that we would be promoted. Once we then got promoted, it was suddenly like, oh, actually, we need to stay in the Premier League for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, but Carl, a few months ago, the fans were in uproar because when the club said we were exploring a different ground, the fans don't want to move. I personally don't want to move. I think the City Ground is amazing on the Trent. It's one of the nicest grounds in the country. So yes, we could move, but I don't think the fans actually want to move.
I don't think
Not
the Spurs
the
fans
older ones,
wanted to
not the
move
older
either.
ones anyway.
The Spurs fans didn't want to move. I bet they love the stadium now.
So, Rob, on this ground thing, right? Because Carlos does have a point. It was announced, was it 2018 or 19, whenever the initial plans came out? And they've dragged their feet. Do you feel they're stalling for time? Are they waiting for another year in the Premier League, or is it a case that they do actually want to move stadiums? We've seen Marinakis talking about that in an interview, and they're just waiting for it to all kind of die down before they slap the next bombshell on.
Okay, so 3 things. Firstly, there was an element of delay caused by Rushcliffe Council in particular, planning, because when you do a big construction project like that, you have to make it's because we're going to build some residential accommodation, some flats. You've got to give some money for new schools and new GPs and stuff like that. And there was a lot of haggling over that because they wanted like 100,000. There was a reason, right? There was some exorbitant demands from Rushcliffe Council. So that was partly behind the delay. Secondly, Nicholas Randall did say in one of his final interviews that we're waiting for the squad to be a certain maturity, settled in the Premier League, so we're not fighting relegation before we tackle a strategic project like this. So that was kind of indicated that, it would be nice to be sort of safely mid-table before we start engaging in a big project like this. I disagree, but that was a statement from him. Ultimately, what worries me is that he hasn't rolled back this statement he made about, it's going to be hard to leave the City Ground, and we need revenues to compete. Listen, what revenues he's talking about is if we go to Toten, he wants to build a hotel, he wants to build restaurants, bars, shops, like maybe an outlet shopping mall, everything. So basically all the money that goes to the city centre and to Rushcliffe or to the hotels in the city centre, basically all that money would go to Marinakis and some would go into the club, right? But the thing is that what this is about is this is about making a day out at Forest. Instead of being about 40 quid, it's about making it cost 100 quid because they want to get you for parking, they want to get you for food, they want to get you for spending in the shop. So I don't really want Forest to be commercialised like that. I don't want to be milked. I'm not interested. I mean, those things may move the needle on the balance sheet, right? But ultimately, it's to pay players 150 grand a week. I don't agree with that, right? So I don't believe in
Rob,
this,
on that
we
point,
have to commercialise to survive because it's about extracting money from us.
Yeah,
well, let me just play devil's advocate. One sec, Ben.
Ruining the city centre.
Okay, but let's say that was the plan, right? And they did bring in all this revenue into this new stadium, and Forest end up off the back of that in the Champions League. Just playing devil's advocate, would you be against that?
You won't be able to link one to the other, right? And also,
you can't, can't you? The creation of extra revenue brings in
on this new stadium bullshit, right? So both Aston Villa and Newcastle have got grounds that are hemmed in by houses, right? And they've managed to build them up and develop them into first-class stadia. And Villa are now in the Champions League, right? So this idea that we have to become Manchester City in order to, I don't want that because ultimately it's about
you don't want
getting
that.
more money from us,
What don't you
and
want?
it's about further ruining the city centre.
Rob, here's a question for you, Rob. How would you feel about them knocking the City Ground down and rebuilding it in the
on the same land?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, you do it one stand at a time.
No, but what if we just played at Notts County for 2 years while they rebuilt it? How do you feel about that?
Well, I would even say that the Brian Clough stand is showing its age, but like that's not a reason to just abandon the whole thing. I would prefer to do it one stand at a time, and we were doing that. We were doing that.
If they were going to do that, if they announce tomorrow they're going to, at the end of this season, we're going to go play at Notts County for 2 years while they knock the whole stadium down and rebuild it, how would you feel about that?
Well, at least it would be on the same site. It would be the same pitch, but it feels a bit. I don't know. It's too much change too fast. I would rather do it one stand at a time. That's what.
But that's not the question.
Interesting answer. You don't like
That's
change.
what Aston Villa and Newcastle have done. There's a model there. You don't have to bulldoze and start again.
Okay. Avoiding the answer like a true politician there.
No, my answer is no, I don't want to flatten it and start again. I'd lie down in front of the bulldozers like Arthur Dent.
Even if you had hot water.
Okay, we're going. This one's Carlos. You've triggered them all off. This one's gone overtime. So your final verdict: 29% agree with you, and 71% disagree with you in the poll.
I'm taking that.
Okay, is that an uplift on your Murillo one?
74%, but.
Guys in the chat, please don't forget there's over 400 of you in here and 120 likes. Take a quick second, hit that like button. Also, make sure you've subscribed if you are new. Chris with the £2 says, there's you £2, absolute pillock. I think that's aimed at you, Carlos. I think Crystal likes me. So thank you. I'll send you the check in the post there, Carlos. Jessica with the £5. She says, slightly off point, but I have the world famous City Ground coordinates tattooed on my arm. So just please don't move it.
I mean, that's even more reason to do it, isn't it? Come on.
That's Jessica. That's it. You've won the argument. Is that how she gets to the City Ground every time? Just double checks the coordinates. That one got me. Thank you, Jessica, for the £5. Glenn, happy 2-year anniversary, mate. Looking good with the new badge now in the chat. Thank you for that. And Chris with another £2. If only Neville had a chain of bakeries, he says. Thank you so much, Chris. Okay, let's move on to the next topic we got to cover for you guys before we get into the Liverpool preview. And this is going to be, who's up? It's Rob up now. So Rob is going to talk to you about substitutions. Too Little Too Late is his title. Rob, you got 5 minutes. The floor is yours.
All right, please, can you have the graphic ready? Don't put it up yet. Okay, bit of a quiet week, so I thought I'd talk about something that triggered me, which was this all started off with Jota Silva, a player I really wanted to see, being brought on in the 91st minute against Wolves, and I just absolutely hit the roof about that. So I wanted to do a little bit of investigation and research into substitutions. Now, this is one of these stories that starts off when I were a lad. When I were a lad, you used to have 2 substitutions, and Clough would basically only substitute somebody if they got injured. His mentality was, I start with my strongest team on, let the opposition worry about us. I'm not going to mess around with it, right? Now, even worse, I was looking back at some old footage of like the 2 1978 League Cup finals. 1 substitution in those days, right? Now, the issue is you've got people then sort of playing on with injuries, which is absurd. So in this modern day, jump forward sort of 40 years, you now got 9 people on the bench, of which you can bring 5 on in 3 phases. Now, this is something that Steve Cooper didn't understand about the 3 phases, because I remember 2 games, Villa away and Brentford away, where we finished with 10 men, which was incompetence of the highest order. Brian Clough wouldn't have done that. Now, just want to give some context. This 9 players on the bench in 3 phases, 5 coming on. This only actually came in 2022, right? And the reason was the Qatar World Cup and the extra fixture congestion that was going to cause and the extra pressure that it was putting on players. So clubs were encouraged to rotate people and not make them play on with an injury. Now, I'm going to come back to that. Just remember, 2022, it all changed. It's always been like that for us because that was our first season back in the Premier League, right? Can you put the graphic up? Thank you. Right. So I went and did some actual research to see if my hunch was right. Now, you don't have to read all of this, and I've only got 2 minutes 30 left. So what I'm going to do is just explain. This is the last 10 games. And I'm looking at this now. I can't see your comments, so don't waste your time. This is the last 10 games. These are the players that we brought on in phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, the times that they came on, and also the times that the opposition brought their substitutes on. Now, one thing I wanted to highlight is that in those red numbers, those are half-time substitutions. So the half-time phase is actually a bonus substitution phase, a bonus phase. So you can make changes at half-time and 3 more phases, right? So I've taken the average time of our 3 phases and the average time of the opposition 3 phases. Now, I've had to remove from the average the Bournemouth game because Danilo got injured after 15 minutes and that threw everything out. So it's not a proper representation, right? But this is what I found out, right? Average time of the Forest first substitutions, 60 minutes. Opposition, 58. Second set of substitutions, 79 minutes, which is way late, right? Opposition, 73 minutes. Third substitutions, 89 minutes. What are they going to contribute? And 87 for the opposition. Right, so my conclusions are Nuno has never made subs at half-time, whereas the opposition have done that 3 times. So what's going on there, Nuno? The phases 1 and 3 are averaged 2 minutes later, but it's the second phase, the middle phase, what you might call the tactical substitution. So not injuries, but sort of changing his shape. He's consistently 6 minutes after the opposition. So my question is he reacting rather than dictating play, right? And is he, you've got to remember that Nuno's previous experience in the Premier League with Wolves and Spurs was before you could make these 5 subs in 3 phases. He's been away in Saudi in the meantime. So my question is he struggling to adapt to this new system? I mean, just now they've changed the rules this year, so you can have 5 people warming up. You can have all 5 warming up at the same time. It used to be limited to 3, right? If you compare that, 10 other teams, so that's the wisdom of the crowd. Why are the substitutions so late? I don't want to see players coming on 79 minutes. That's you should be going 10 minutes before that to dictate the pace of the game. So that is my feedback to Nuno. It's not just a hunch. It's actually borne out by the information. Thank you very much. 5 minutes 15.
You went over. Yeah. All right. But this is an interesting debate, right? Because substitutions, I think, have irked all sides of the Forest fan base. Carlos, what are your thoughts on Nuno's substitution? And in particular, I guess Rob's covering the timing here rather than the personnel, which I guess we can cover off. But do you agree with what Rob's saying? He's too late on his subs.
Yeah, I do. I do agree with Rob. Yeah, it's been a real problem with Nuno, hasn't it? Even last season, it was the same. He just didn't make subs until it was too late, or he made the wrong subs. I can't remember many games where he's made subs that have actually won us the game, maybe 1 or 2 potentially, but it feels like a lot of his subs or not subbing has cost us points at times. We've lost lots of leads, haven't we? We've got a really bad record for dropping points from leading positions, and I think a lot of that is down to Nuno's in-game management with not bringing people on or just reacting to what the opposition are doing. So yeah, I'd agree with Rob.
Okay, so he's got 1. Ben, what are you saying?
I'm just laughing at that comment.
Shout out to Nixon.
I mean, for the first time ever on this channel, in the year or so that I've known Rob, I actually agree with him, which I didn't think I'd be doing on here tonight. But yeah, I agree with Rob. I think one of the things last season and one of the things that's carried over is that he makes his substitutes too late. And it's so frustrating when you're watching the match because the thing that's always strange to me is that the fans seem to know what needs to be done, but the people, the professional managers. Does that mean we're all wrong? Does that mean 30,000 fans are wrong when they're thinking if someone's tiring just after half time, they should be changed? Because it's just so strange that the time's made, but sometimes his substitutions are just a bit strange as well in terms of the personnel. But yeah, he makes them too late, and I think it turns into desperation. I mean, that game he put Jota Silva on in the 89th minute when we needed a goal back. I mean, I know there was 10 minutes extra time, but it's too late. He needs to try and get the games won and locked up with 10 minutes to go, not trying to chase the game with 10 minutes to go. So, yeah, for the first time ever, I agree with Rob. The answer to that question, Charlie, is crypto.
He did it in the Bournemouth game, didn't he? He did make subs, but he made the wrong subs. He used to make the wrong subs. Now they seem to be right, but too late. He took the wingers off, didn't he? He took the wingers off and he brought like Dominguez on, and he started off on the right.
Is this on Rob's start here? Let's have a quick look.
Can I answer that quickly, Carl? Just remember in the Bournemouth game that the first phase was forced upon him, but what I'm saying is he could have still made some changes at half time and then still had 2 phases after that. But he never uses the half-time.
Wait, hold on, Rob.
Yeah,
just on that point, because
too late, or he makes the wrong subs.
That's a good point as well.
Just on that point, is everyone in the chat aware that you get an extra free phase if you like at half time? So that just explain it to them, Rob. I don't think everyone knows that rule.
So there's 2 exceptions to this 3 substitution phase rule. You can change at half time because it doesn't delay the game. Yeah, and also if someone gets a concussion, you can change them at any time. Right, because they don't want people playing on with concussions. So in theory, you could do 5 separate phases if you use the halftime and the concussion sub as well. And let's hope we don't have to use the concussion sub. But I mean, I'm wondering if someone's actually explained these rules to Nuno, because obviously he had that Danilo injury, so he's got to use his substitution there, right? But I mean, he's then not made any changes, and he's brought Tofelo Dominguez on 54 minutes. He could have made those changes at half time and still had 2 separate substitution phases after that. But I think he was kind of like behaving as if he only had the 3 phases. So I don't know. I'm not even sure that the people managing this team understand the rules, because do you remember the Fulham game? We went 3-0 up, and then Marco Silva just lost his shit and did like 3 substitutions in the first half. Yeah. Right? Can you imagine Nuno doing that? He's just so reactive. And I feel like this aspect of him, he's a bit of a dinosaur, because it's not just, there's 10 other managers there. Admittedly, one of them is Chris Wilder, but there's 10 professional managers there. Their average substitution time is 6 minutes earlier on the middle subs, right? So it's almost like he's waiting to see how the opposition tweak things, and then he's reacting to that. It should be the other way around, especially if we're at home. You should be putting your foot on the throat. If you're 1-0 up, you should be making the subs on 65 minutes and getting 2-0 up. And I think that this is potentially something to do why we're not very good at holding on to leads, because we have lost the most points from winning positions. And it's because we come out slow in the second half. We don't bring subs on at half time. And we're not making the middle phase of subs until 79 minutes, which is ridiculous. So we're losing the initiative.
But the difference based on your graph, you're talking about 6 minutes in comparison to the other managers.
On average.
The opponent. On average. Okay, I'm taking it.
That is a big difference.
6 whole minutes. Carlos, would you be up for halftime subs? Would that not show that the manager got the team sheet wrong in the first place?
I'm not really that bothered about the halftime subs. I don't always feel there's a need to make subs at halftime, to be honest. But I do feel like he doesn't make tactical changes at halftime. Like, let's be fair to Cooper, he did have a habit of making good tactical changes at halftime, which helped us win games and stuff. Nuno doesn't seem to do that. He did. But Nuno doesn't seem to. And Rob was saying there, like, Nuno's reactive, but I find he's not even reactive most of the time, to be honest.
What-
He very
what's-
rarely changes things up. And
What's disappointing, and why I raise this now, is the quality of players we've now got on the bench, right? So if you look at last season, he's only had like Origi and Ribeiro to bring on, but now you've got like Sousa and Jota sitting there. I'm thinking, you're not going to wait until 87 minutes, please. Can we see them about 20 minutes earlier when they could really impact the game?
yeah,
I kind of think everyone's quite unanimous on this one, to be honest. You got 87% in the poll agreeing with you there, so there's not too much to argue about, really. I mean, there's a politician choosing a comfortable subject if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
But now, I think in general, the chat are agreeing with exactly what you're saying. I think we would like to see some substitutes coming on slightly earlier. I just need to catch up with a couple of super chats. Wazza, thank you so much for the £2. He says, keep the city ground all day long and develop it. Thank you so much, buddy. And just a quick reminder, hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you show Carlos some love or abuse. Either way, he can take it over on his Twitch account. So if you're on Twitch, make sure you're giving him a follow. I've just put the link in the chat for you guys now. Just go give it a follow. It's completely free to do so. And you can watch how crap he is at COD. And
I will be streaming after this podcast as well.
So if you want to go and directly abuse him, you can have him all to yourselves straight after this. He's going live on Twitch. So make sure you go show him some love. And I'll be checking to make sure you guys have given him a follow, because I know a few of you are young enough to know what Twitch is. So, okay, let's move on and talk about the teams ahead of the Liverpool game coming up this weekend. So I don't know I think I've got Carlos's team up first here for whatever reason. So guys, this is the fun bit. Let's have a look at these teams and see what everyone has to say. So I haven't got my frilly artwork because I was working late today. So it's 2D today, unfortunately. So, Carlos, you've gone for a 4-3-3. Sells in goal. Einar, Moreno's your fullbacks. Milenkovic and Murillo, ladies and gents, Murillo at centre-back. And then you've gone 3 in the middle in a 6-8, I assume, here with Sangare. And then Ward-Prowse and Anderson in front of him. And then you've gone for a front 3 of Hudson-Odoi, Elanga, and MGW as the false 9.
Yeah.
Interesting. Explain.
Yeah, so someone in the chat just tickled me saying, do I do a bikini stream on Twitch? It's a good idea. Might get me some more followers. Yeah, so the idea... I spoke to you about this earlier in the week, Wolfie. I was going to go back 5, but Bolly got injured. So I revised my formation. If Bolly was fit, I would have played a back 5. But I don't really trust Delhi, however you pronounce his name. So, yeah, Sells in goal, speaks for itself. I want to see Moreno at left back because I feel like he's probably the best left back at the club. Ainar's a natural right back. I think he would be better on that side, being right-footed. You often see him on the left having to cut back and stuff. And it's not quite fluid. And then my idea is pack the midfield, lots of energy with Anderson, Ward-Prowse, experience, Sangare just sitting. And then MGW with the false 9, I want to see him dropping into midfield and helping out as well. And then Hudson-Odoi on the left, Elanga on the right, lots of pace to break. Morgan gives White pace. Anderson can break as well. Liverpool strong in midfield. We need to counteract that. We need 3 in the middle. And Ward-Prowse for the free kicks because we might not get many opportunities. So we've got to make them count.
So what are you boys saying about that? I mean, my first question is where's the goals, but what do you guys say?
For me, it doesn't work on maybe 3 points. 1, I think for Liverpool, we've got to go 5 at the back just because of who they are. Top 6 teams for me, we play better with 5 at the back. 2, I'd say where's the goals coming from? Because Morgan Gibbs White, Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, they can score, but they're not as prolific as someone like Chris Wood, or even Rob would argue Taiwo Awoniyi and what he did to Liverpool last time we played them. And the third point for me is Ward-Prowse. For me, he'd have to start on the bench. I know he's a good player, but I just don't. He hasn't had any time in our team, and bringing him in against Liverpool is not for me.
Rob?
props for starting Ward-Prowse. He's in my team as well, and I think that set piece may well be. It may well be our best chance of scoring in a game like that. But I do think it's a little bit courageous playing 4 at the back away at Liverpool, especially if they play the 4-3-3. The 3 up front are going to find gaps in that, and I don't know. You throw that on, you could be 2-0 down after 15 minutes.
Or you could be 2-0 up.
Who's scoring though, Carl?
Hudson-Odoi, Mon gives way, Alanga, Anderson with a surgeon run into the box, Lampard, Ward-Prowse from a free kick.
Carl, we've not been
Murillo with a mazy run from defence.
We've not been prolific. We've been getting a goal a game at the moment, and that's against some of the less strong. I mean, this Arsenal and Man City are your 3 absolute hardcore away games, I think, and you're allowed to defend sometimes. You've got the thing about Anfield in particular is like if they're not 1-0 up after 30 minutes, they can get on their team's back, right? It doesn't work that way maybe at Arsenal or Man City, but at Anfield, they will be expecting to just go out and win. And if you get under the skin, the crowd will actually get on the players' backs. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's not like that these days, but traditionally it's what it was like. So I think
you have to bear in mind this isn't necessarily a fully offensive formation. Although you can see there with Anderson and Ward-Prowse in front of Sangare, they would naturally drop in as a 3, and then Mon gives White drops in as well. That's quite a packed midfield. And then you've got Moreno and Eno that can both break with pace when we need it. And then you've got 2 absolute solid beasts in the middle. We all love Murillo, don't we? He's going to be playing for Real Madrid one day, so he should stop most things. And Milenkovic, we love him. It's class. It's a solid defence.
I get the thinking with the 3 in the middle. I'm not anti the 3 in the middle, nor am I anti the 4 you've got at the back. For me, it's the front 3. I just don't see
Morgan gives White for somebody else.
Can I just make a point? Because I know Rob's going to do this. I don't know he is, but I bet Rob's got a 1 in Ward-Prowse in. Rob's just said that you want to have Ward-Prowse in because he's the best crosser, the best set piece taker of our ball. Who is the best header of our ball? Chris Wood. If Ward-Prowse is in the team, Chris Wood needs to be in the team.
He's not.
Yeah.
Right. The best header of the ball is Milenkovic.
Yeah, but I'm talking about goals this season, goals last season. Chris Wood is the guy you want on the end of a.
Chris Wood doesn't jump, mate. He does not jump.
He's so good.
Ward-Prowse isn't crossing it. He's shooting, mate. Don't worry about it. It's going straight in.
But if Ward-Prowse is crossing it, you would assume most of it would be from dead ball situations where you could push the centre backs up into the box or from corners.
That's what Chris Wood is known for, scoring from headers.
Yeah, I get that. I just think the front 3. On my
team. Can I go next?
We haven't finished on Carlos's team. We've got
spoiling it.
I don't know who's next anyway. It's in an order here. But the chat, 18% agree with your team, Carlos. 82% are against your team. You got some haters in the chat.
I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked.
Just before we move on to the next team, shout out to Jessica. Thank you so much for the £5, Jessica. Really do appreciate it. Really good point, Rob. She says on his subs, but crypto wins for me tonight. I wonder if that's got anything to do with your name, Jessica. Thank you so much for the £5. Crypto's loving it today, mate. His eulogy's gone down.
When I was doing my eulogy, there's only 200 people watching. So everybody after this stream needs to go and rewatch the whole stream. Nearly 700.
You'll be depressed. All right, I'm going, I would go 6 out of 11 for yours, Carlos. I'd say 6 out of 11.
Thank you.
I'll go 6 out of 11. Shout out to Roy with the 12 months. Happy 1 year anniversary, bro. Thank you so much for all your support. And let's see whose team is up next. I don't actually know. Let's bring it up. Whose is that?
That's Cryptos.
Is that yours, Cryptos?
The best one.
All right, so Crypto, you've gone for a 3-back/5 back. You've gone, how do I describe this? A 5-2-1-2 So he's got Morato, Murillo, and Milenkovic as the CBs. He's got Moreno and Einar as the wing backs. Anderson and Sangare in the 6 and the 8. Morgan Gibbs-White in the 10, and then Wood and Jota up front. Explain.
So I'll take you through my team. I'll start off from the top of the pitch. The reason why there's no wingers on the pitch is because we have wing backs. If you play a 5-back, Einar and Moreno can effectively act as wingers. Now, I'd start Miguel in goal because I thought his cup match performance was brilliant. Sells for me is fine. I have nothing against Sells. If Sells starts, that's fine. But I don't think he has that bit of special in him like Miguel does. Some of the saves he made in that cup match were brilliant. And because he is naturally, 3 or 4 inches taller, I think he can reach those balls that go into the top corner. He's good at getting down low. So Nicky, shout out. Nicky's in the chat, 100%. I'm going for Miguel on that. Now, against the top 6, I pretty much always go for a back 5 because we're going to have so much pressure on us. I know we like to think that we can control the game and we are better this season. But for me, you've got to have that 5 back. And like I say, Moreno and Einar are effectively going to be wing backs, running up the wing, putting crosses into the box. Now, I agree with something that Wolfie said on his video earlier. If we do start to press forward, Murillo can almost jump into that midfield as well when we're going forward. So you have that cover from Milenkovic and Morato. Anderson and Sangare for me have been, love you too, Nicky. Anderson and Sangare have been some of the best players this season so far. And I think Sangare is really good at holding that defensive midfield. Anderson is brilliant at making pressing runs through the middle, distributing the ball out to people like Morgan Gibbs-White and also taking some shots on goal. And then up front, it's got to be Morgan Gibbs-White, plays for England. You can't drop him now. So he's definitely in there as number 10. Wood, of course, as our best striker, whatever Rob says, Wood is our most consistent striker. He's the most likely to score. And then Jota is acting as almost like a false striker. So he can fit that winger position. And I wouldn't actually mind if he rotated from the left wing to the right wing. Whoever needs it effectively, Moreno and Einar, whoever's getting that distance of the pitch, Jota falls onto that side of the wing to take the ball forward. He can cut inside. He can go for goal. He's a decent striker as well. Or he can be whipping balls in from either the left or right-hand side. So for me, that is the winning team.
All right, what are you boys saying? So I see. Well, when I see that he's copied it off my video from about a week ago.
No, I put this out on
Nuno's
Twitter.
dilemma, literally player for player.
I put this out on Twitter ages ago. I got hammered for it as well on Twitter, but Twitter's not real. So,
what are you boys saying to this team? What do you like? What don't you like about it?
It's. Sorry, Carlos. It's better than Carl's team. I like the wing backs. I just think you're getting overrun in midfield there. I don't think Anderson. I don't think that 2-man midfield is really going to contain Liverpool.
A question for you, Rob. Let's say you have a 3-man midfield. Who are you dropping out of that?
Well, I thought you knew my team. I'll answer that in a moment.
You'd probably drop Jota.
I think you put one of them.
Drop Jota.
I like the idea of Jota and Wood in that they both offer something very different, and I think they're both, from what I can see, good off the ball and might be able to sort of find space. But what you were saying about pressing, I'm not sure that going there and trying to do high press against Liverpool is a good idea because they've got the technical ability on the ball.
Even on the counter,
press, right?
Even on the counter, Murillo is good.
What I'm saying is, if you took that to Liverpool and you went and pressed, they would beat the press, and then you would get overrun in midfield. And I don't know.
Can I just say one thing? I know I don't actually like this, but do you know who comes back to help us in midfield most of the games? Chris Wood. Chris Wood, most of the game, is like an extra player in midfield. I'm not saying that's right. For me, I would prefer to have but that's what this gives you. It gives you Jota making the through runs from Morgan Gibbs-White. Wood can sit back that bit more and go up for set pieces, etc., etc. So I think we do have the cover in midfield. It's almost like you've got a 5-back, a 3 when Wood drops in, and then you've got MGW and Jota causing them pain, skilling them out, running through, get the pace on them. I think it's perfect.
What are you saying, Carl?
I think it's a massive risk playing Miguel in goal. I think it's got to be Sells. You know, you don't put him in against Liverpool. Same with Morata, massive risk. He hasn't even played for us yet. You know,
I kind of do agree on that point.
if you are going to play a free, probably you'd have to go Andio instead of him personally. I also think the midfield's a bit light, and I think someone said it in the chat as well. I would drop Jota and put Ward-Prowse in there as a free, and then just have like Wood as a lone striker with MGW behind him.
Say the same thing. If you're saying you don't know if Miguel's right for Liverpool, you could say that about James Ward-Prowse. He's never played.
Look, Ward-Prowse is a proven Premiership player.
I know. I'm saying he's good.
It's not comparable, is it?
He hasn't played in our system. It's easier to fit a goalkeeper.
Ward-Prowse, he's played for England, 8 or 9 times, is it as well? You know,
but you got to play as a team, whereas the goalkeeper is just the goalkeeper, effectively. Anyway, I just put the goalkeeper in there because I knew Nicky was going to kick off if I did it.
Yeah, you said drop Miguel, Carlos, and Nicky reacted instantly, mate. You don't drop Miguel with Nicky in the chat, man. It's his boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously people in the chat that hate me, but I don't hate that formation. I think it could work, but I just think it needs a few little tweaks, and it's probably more likely what we're going to do than what I put.
The only thing I'd say to this, with the risk of upsetting Jessica, is if you did what Carlos was saying and drop Jota and put, say, a Ward-Prowse in the middle, has Wood got the pace on the counter-attack to help us against Liverpool?
He doesn't, but he doesn't have the pace in any games, and he seems to score every game. I'm not saying Wood is the be-all and end-all. I'm saying what Wood's done for us is very good. He's consistent. He gets goals. He's not the perfect striker because he doesn't have the pace. And I don't like how he falls back behind Morgan Gibbs-White. If you look at his heat maps, Wood actually normally ends up, on average, behind MGW, which for me is wrong. But for everything Wood's given us and the way he almost poaches a goal every game, I think you've got to start him. I mean, Awani for me is, yes, he had a good purple patch. There was a season where he played really well, but that's all it was. It's never been anything since that. He's been injured. He's lost his consistency. I know he's fast. I know he's strong, but we need proven goal scorers.
All right. So that was Crypto's team. 64% of you agreed with it. What's interesting is before the rebuttal from the other two boys, it was at 72%. So you brought him down 8%, boys. Well done, I guess. Let's go and have a look at Rob's team and see what he's got in store for us. And why is that not? Hold on, Rob. I can't find your team, mate.
That looks like Cole's team. That's definitely.
Hold on one sec. Hold on. Let me just find your team.
He's lost it. He's lost it.
Oh, it was so bad that I just didn't think it was worth putting on. All right, don't worry. I found it. Okay, so Rob has gone. Is that your
team? No, that's Carl's team.
Oh,
hold on. All right, sorry.
What happened to the fancy animations that you were doing?
I was working late today. All right. I mean, and God damn it, when everyone sees the formation you put together, they'll feel for me. They really will.
A stunning formation. In fact, DJ Tone has just actually said in the chat he wants this. There you go. Look at that. That's
all right.
Very sensible.
Talk us through it. You don't have 5 minutes to talk us through it. We're running late, so go for it.
Okay. So it's about 3 or 4 debuts there. I think that away at Liverpool is when you find out how good people actually are. And there's a few gambles in there. But I think I'm also going with 3 central defenders. I think if you sign Moreno and you don't use him in a game like this, then why did you sign him? I think Miguel could be a match winner. If he does what he's capable of doing. You've actually made a boo-boo there because I had Williams at right back.
Ooh. Tough, you got 8 on.
That's made it worse. Okay. Rob. That's made it worse.
No, because Williams and Moreno, you'd say the same thing about both of them, which is that they're great going forward, but a bit suspect in defence. Now, Williams was man of the match away at Liverpool 2 years ago. Awani has scored against Liverpool, both old Liverpool players. So what I've got in the middle is a diamond with Sangare at the back of the diamond. That is the job that we bought him for. Yeah. I've got Anderson, left-sided midfielder, Ward-Prowse, right-footed midfielder. Ward-Prowse is in. Well, they're both in for their set pieces. And then Gibbs-White doing Gibbs-White things, putting Awani through in that large amount of space that there's going to be behind the Liverpool back four, because they're going to really push on to us, right? Now, I mean, we've seen what Awoniyi can do. He did it away at Arsenal, away at Man U, away at Chelsea, break through and exploit. So we're talking like three of the biggest, toughest opponents. I'm not saying that Awoniyi's going to play the whole game. Coming back to what I said about substitutes, my game plan would be to take him off after about 55 minutes and put Chris Wood on. But I would like to start with Awoniyi.
I thought you hated Chris Wood.
No. Chris Wood for the set pieces. Chris Wood to score in the 89th minute off a Ward-Prowse free kick. I want to start with Awoniyi. I want to start with Awoniyi.
Can I make a point?
You can say it's Aina or Williams, whoever you prefer.
Well, just to clarify to the chat, he is right. Hold on. He put Williams in. So before you lot, I mean, the love coming for this team is crazy. So just bear in mind, I had to improve his team by putting Aina in there. He's got Williams. So in your minds, change Williams.
Aina is our best orthodox fullback on either side. He's the first choice, right? But, you know, we're leaving out Hudson-Odoi and Elanga from this team, right? And I'm putting Williams in because I think he's better going forwards, and I think he will be so up for this game like he was away at Liverpool last time. And I want, you know, with the three central defenders, Williams is then free to go and do Williams things. You know, he's free to do what he's good at.
Do though, going forward, everyone says this about Williams. Yeah. Like he offers so much going forward.
But what does he offer? He scored at Liverpool.
He's got 1 goal and 2 assists, or 2 goals and 1 assist. I can't remember which one.
My concern,
it deflected so heavily, mate. I mean, it didn't go in clean, did it?
Still got to be there. Still got to be there.
Yeah, Rob, my major assists in how many years he's been here?
My major concern with this, I mean, I quite like it, to be fair, but my major concern is that we score a lot of our goals from balls being crossed into the box, whether that's directly a header or whether it, you know, gets bumped around a bit and then we score. A lot of our goals start off as a cross. I don't think that's going to work with crosses into people like Awoniyi. I think you need Chris Wood up front.
Wait a minute. No, he scored plenty of goals.
Yeah, but when you say he scored, you're talking like 2 years ago. He hasn't been good. He's not in form.
The only thing I would say about Awoniyi playing is it's that ex-Liverpool player could score a goal kind of thing that happens. You know, it does happen. So, yeah, I won't be against. I think that's a good team. I mean, I've already
anything you don't like about it in particular. I think
that's a decent lineup.
I still don't think we should start Ward-Prowse. I know both of you guys chosen him, but for me, first game, I know he's a good player. Nothing against Ward-Prowse. I think he's a brilliant player, but he won't know the team. And to put him in against Liverpool, I think is too much. Bring him on as a sub, but I wouldn't put him in to begin.
I mean, I think you're right. I don't think he will play. I think Yates will be in there somewhere, but I would like to see him play.
Yeah, is there a shout though, Carlos, to have Yates in the team if you're playing Ward-Prowse because of the amount of fouls he wins and gives away?
What do you mean for headers?
No, I'm saying because Yates always wins a foul, doesn't he? And you got Ward-Prowse there, free kick specialist.
Yeah, but the problem is he wins them around our box. Yeah. So like it's such. He very rarely wins a free kick on the area.
He wins a lot of fouls for the opposition.
Yeah, he gives away a lot of fouls and then wins a lot around our defensive areas. I've got a funny feeling Yates is going to play at the weekend.
I completely disagree with the Williams thing. I know Aina's on the screen, but choosing Williams over Aina I think Aina's one of our best players in the whole team, let alone one of our best wing backs.
He didn't have his best game against Wolves.
If you see the amount of effort he puts in at that wing, and the way he connects with, I know normally we play actual wingers, the way he connects with them and the amount of effort he puts in, for me, he's a much better player than Nico Williams.
And we've not been seeing the best of Aina because he's been playing at left back and he's naturally a right back.
Yep. And he scored at right back against Villa last year.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he just side-footed it in, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think the midfield is too crowded. How many teams play four?
Yeah, but that's the point, Crypto. That's the point.
You need it against Liverpool.
I don't think you do. Not with five at the back and a CDM in front.
So with the 5-4-1 diamond, the point is that they're not getting in each other's way. All 5 of those can make forward runs and leave Sangare behind screening the defense, right? And in fact, Sangare can basically sit there as a quarterback and hit the diagonal balls to Moreno or Williams as they race up into all that space that Liverpool are going to have behind there.
Then you're relying on a single striker who's out of form against
Liverpool, right? Liverpool are going to pin our wing backs right back because Slot even said that in the last game, didn't he? He made his two wingers, literally push high up as possible, and then he's got the 3 in midfield pushing through. If we don't have 3 in the middle, we're going to get overrun completely.
Well, I've got 4 in the middle, but I've got effectively 2 8s, 6 and a 10.
Yeah, MGW like dropping in.
Yeah.
The whole point of my formation is to be solid in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, not
all right, well, 81% of the chat agree with you. That's quite a high return percentage there. But I think they thought Aino was in there. It was my mistake. He went Williams. Don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you do subscribe as well. One person who doesn't agree is Jessica. Thank you for the £5, Jessica. She says, Rob, what you doing? I don't agree with you anymore. Only crypto has sense. I wonder why she's saying that. Thank you so much, Jessica. All right, let's get predictions in. So, chat, get your predictions in for the big game this weekend. And I'll go around the boys and see what they've got to say about it. So, let's kick off with Crypto. How are you feeling about this weekend?
I think if they play my starting lineup, I think we'll win 1-0. If they don't, I think we'll draw 0-0. But I really think that I think out of everybody who needs to come into the team, it needs to be Miguel. I think he's the difference maker in our goal. If we have Miguel start, I don't think we'll concede. If Sel starts, who knows? Could be 7 or 8-0.
Wow. Okay, Rob.
Well, I got shouted at on Grumpy Old Reds for predicting that we wouldn't win. I mean, do you want a prediction or do you want some fantasy, some dream? Or
I just asked you for a prediction. That's all I've asked you for.
Well, if I was doing Fantasy Premier League, I would not be backing Forest for an away win here. I think that
you don't put predictions in a fantasy league, mate.
We've got the players in our squad to draw or even win this game. But my prediction is that Nuno will not pick them. And
Rob, can I just say one thing? Do you know the person in our team who scores the most points in Fantasy Premier League? Chris Wood.
Yeah, he is in my fantasy league team, actually. You can check it. It's on the FFTV league. So I think
make sure you're in that league, by the way, chat. ! FPL. There's the link with the code there. Sorry, go on.
I think that we've got the players in our squad to draw or win this game. But if you saw my team, there's about 4 debuts in there. And I just think that Nuno is risk averse. I think he will play 3 central defenders, but I think we're going to see people like Elanga and Hudson-Odoi, and neither of them is on fire at the moment. And I just think that we're gonna lose 2-0 because he's going to make the conservative team selection and the late substitutes, and the people that could win it for us won't get the chance to do so. So 2-0 defeat. But
you're a hypocrite.
No, that's a prediction.
Yeah, but are you not a hypocrite?
Why?
Is it not you who says you never want to give a debut to someone away from home you prefer as at home, and you want 4 debuts?
Look, no. This is a free hit. This is where you find out how good people are. Liverpool away. This is a great opportunity to find out how good some of these players are. Sink or swim, Morato. Sink or swim, Miguel.
I don't agree with this free hit thing. We need to get as many points as possible. Why is it a free hit?
I won't be happy if we lose. To nick a 1-0 from a set piece.
Yeah, but then it's not a free hit. We're going to do it. Trying to get points out of the match.
Well, all right. Let's get Carlos's prediction in, mate. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm feeling confident. I think it's going to be 2-1 Forest. Ward-Prowse for a free kick, winner, second half. Boom.
2-1 Forest?
Yep.
I like it. Steve, that's got to be positive for you, mate. He's saying everyone's been too negative. In what, your team? Are you putting any like caveats in this? If he went with your 4-3-3 false 9 or anything we pick?
Whatever team we play, whatever Nuno does, 2-1 Forest. obviously Ward-Prowse has got to play to score that winner, so he's got to be on the pitch. But yeah, there you go. 2-1.
Wow, they're now agreeing with you. A few of them, man. A few of them. However, we do have a bit of a negative chat here, lads. 45% are going for a Liverpool win. 20% now are going for a Forest win. And 37% in the poll are going for a draw. You negative Nellies in the chat, you lot. Honestly, it's crazy. But we are way over time here. Carlos has got to go and keep his crowd entertained over on Twitch. So if you want to go and join in and give him some more abuse, I've got the link in the comments. Go show him some love on Twitch. Make sure you're following him. Thank you to all the panelists. Thank you to all the chat. Your comments have been as entertaining as ever. We'll be back tomorrow with the daily video, and then we got the watch along for you guys on Saturday. Thanks to everyone. Come on,
Hit
you
the like.
Reds.